All right, let's get into it. So many teams pour everything into architecting the perfect Azure migration. But honestly, that's kind of like building a brand new, top of the line spacecraft and then completely forgetting to staff mission control. So today, we're going to build that mission control. We're architecting the operational readiness that makes sure your migration doesn't just launch, but that it actually succeeds for the long haul. So imagine this. The blueprints are done. All the resources are provisioned in Azure. That moment of truth, it's getting closer. But the real question, the one that matters most, is when you flip that switch and your application makes first contact in the cloud, is your team actually ready for what happens next? Because let's be real, the technical build, that's only half the battle. And this is the core idea we have to get our heads around. The finish line isn't the moment you go live, no way. Real success is measured by the stability, the performance, and the confidence you have on day 2 and day 10 and day 100. It's all about what happens after the migration, and that requires a solid plan. Okay, so first things first. We have to assemble our mission control toolkit. These are the absolute non-negotiables, the systems and processes you've got to have locked in before you even think about the cutover. This is your ground control infrastructure. First up, monitoring. Just think of this as your flight telemetry. It's that constant stream of data, CPU, memory, API response times, you name it, that tells you exactly what is happening inside your systems at any given moment. In the Azure universe, Azure Monitor is your main dashboard for this. It gives you that critical real-time visibility. Without it, you are flying completely blind. So it's one thing to see all that data streaming in, but how do you make it actionable? Well, that's where alerting comes in. If monitoring is the raw telemetry feed, alerting is your master alarm system. It's the set of automated rules that watches everything coming from Azure Monitor and basically screams, "Houston, we have a problem," the second a critical threshold gets breached. An alarm going off is pretty useless if nobody knows what to do, right? And that's exactly why you need runbooks. This is your emergency playbook. Seriously, for every single critical alert you set up, there should be a matching runbook, a super clear, step-by-step guide. This lets anyone on call, even at 3 a.m., diagnose and fix the issue without panicking or guessing. And of course, you can't forget the human element. The final piece of this toolkit is the on-call team itself. And we're not just talking about a list of names on a spreadsheet. We're talking about a trained, prepared crew who knows the schedule, understands the systems, and is ready to grab that playbook the second an alert fires. So you've got your toolkit assembled. You've got the monitoring, the alerts, the runbooks, the team. But does it all actually work together under pressure? It's time to move to the next phase, the pre-launch simulation. And this isn't just some casual test. This is the full-blown dress rehearsal. Your disaster recovery, or DR, test is the ultimate practice run. Why? Because it tests everything all at once. First, you define some realistic failure scenarios. What happens if our main database just dies? Or what if an entire Azure region goes offline? Then, you actually run the drill. You put the team under real pressure to respond. And as you do it, you document every single thing that goes wrong, every confusing step, every moment of hesitation. Finally, you take all those painful lessons and you use them to make your alerts and your runbooks crystal clear for the real thing. Okay, the rehearsal is done, your playbooks are battle-tested. Now it's time for the main event, the cutover weekend. But because you've done all this preparation, this isn't going to be a weekend of chaos and last-minute heroics. Nope, it's a weekend of calm, methodical execution. And, a huge part of that calm execution has nothing to do with technology. Just look at this quote. The plan was simple, clear, calm, and constant communication. The key here is managing your stakeholders. Your business partners, they don't need to know every technical detail, but they absolutely need to feel confident that things are under control. This kind of communication is what turns a super stressful technical event into a smooth, well-managed business transition. And this timeline really gives you a sense of that intensity. But notice how it's bookended by communication and support. It kicks off with that final stakeholder comms on Friday. Then it moves through all the big technical milestones like data sync and testing. And then, Sunday evening, you hit that critical go or no-go decision, the final moment of truth. And right after that, it flows immediately into a support phase. Every single step is planned out. And that brings us to the last phase of our mission. You've launched, you're in the cloud, but now you have to stabilize the orbit. The work is not over just because you're live, not by a long shot. This is what we call the hypercare period. Think of it like this. For the first week or two after you launch, you have a dedicated team basically on high alert. Your monitoring is cranked up to 11, response times are immediate, and the goal is to squash any little bit of post-launch turbulence before it can ever impact your users. This is how you build trust and momentum right out of the gate. So let's bring this all home. We've walked through the entire journey from planning to rehearsal to execution. Now it's time for your mission debrief, a simple, actionable checklist to make sure you are truly ready for go live. Take a look at this list. Does it seem familiar? It definitely should. This is the entire mission plan we've just covered, but condensed into a final pre-flight check. So ask yourself, is your telemetry configured with Azure Monitor? Are your critical alarms defined and tested? Do you have runbooks ready for your most likely alerts? Does everyone know the on-call schedule? Have you actually passed a full system DR test? Is the business signed off on your communication plan? And is that hypercare landing party assigned and ready? If you can confidently check every single one of these boxes, you're not just migrating, you are setting yourself up for incredible long-term success. And that leaves us with one final question for you. You've seen the whole mission plan for operational readiness. Looking at your own project, your own team, what's the one step, the one item on that checklist that your team needs to focus on right now to guarantee a successful landing?